night feel even darker. The lights above the platform flickered again and again. And in the middle of that cold, wet place, stood a girl named Aisha. She was holding a small black bag close to her chest. Her hands were shaking. Her clothes were wet from the rain, and her eyes were red from crying for too long. She looked left, then right, searching for one single face. One person she wanted to see more than anything. But he was not there. A train horn echoed from far away, and the railway workers started shouting. People rushed forward. Some pushed each other, some held their children tight, and some dragged their heavy luggage. But Aisha did not move. She stood frozen. Her mind was full of one question. Why didn't he come? The train entered the station with a loud screech. A strong wind blew her hair across her face. She wiped her tears with her sleeve and whispered to herself, "Maybe, he really left me alone." She took one slow step backward, then another. It felt like her heart was breaking with every step. She had run away from everything, her home, her family, her fear, only because she believed he would come. She believed he would hold her hand and say, "I'm with you." But he didn't. The crowd pushed past her. A man bumped her shoulder, and she almost fell. She grabbed the metal rail for balance. Her breath was shaking. Her voice was weak. "Aham, where are you?" For a moment, she felt the whole world was turning dark. The sound of the rain, the rushing crowd, the train's whistle, they all mixed into one loud noise inside her mind. She wanted to cry again, but she had no tears left. Then, suddenly, she felt something. A hand. A strong, warm hand grabbed her wrist. Aisha's heart stopped for a second. She turned slowly, scared and hopeful at the same time. It was Aham. His hair was dripping with rainwater. His shirt was soaked. His breathing was heavy as if he had been running for a long time. His eyes were wide, full of fear, full of pain, full of something he was trying hard to hide. He held her hand tighter. "Aisha, don't go." Aisha stared at him. She couldn't speak. Her lips trembled. Her eyes filled again, this time with tears of shock, relief, and something deeper. He stepped closer. His voice cracked. "I'm late. I know. But I'm here now. I ran like crazy to find you." Aisha pulled her hand slightly, but Aham didn't let go. "Please," he whispered, "don't leave." And at that moment, she broke. Tears rolled down her cheeks, mixing with the rain. Her voice was weak but honest. "Aham. I waited. I was so scared." He shook his head. "I'm sorry. I thought I lost you." For a full second, they simply looked at each other. The world around them continued moving, people rushing, trains leaving, announcements echoing, but for them, time had stopped. Aisha took a deep breath. Her hand was still in his. Her heart was still shaking. Her eyes were full, but her voice was steady now. She said the word she had been hiding inside her heart for months. "Yours, or no one." Aham froze. His expression changed. The pain in his eyes slowly turned into something pure, pure love, pure fear, pure relief. He gently touched her shoulder. "I won't let you go," he whispered. But then, the narrator's voice cuts in. "You think this moment happened in one night? No. This was the result of months of pain, love, misunderstandings, and one secret that almost destroyed everything." The scene freezes. Let's go back to where it all began. The story goes back many months before the night at the railway station. Back to a warm afternoon when life felt simple, and neither Aisha nor Aham knew how important they would become to each other. Aisha was walking through the busy market street, holding a few notebooks pressed against her chest. She had just finished her college class and wanted to buy a new novel from her favorite small bookshop. She loved books. They were her escape, pages where she could breathe freely, where no one controlled her choices. The sun was bright, the road noisy, and Aisha moved fast. She pushed the shop door open, and the soft smell of paper hit her face. She smiled a little, the kind of smile only books can create. But fate had its own plan. Inside the shop, Aham was standing near a shelf, scanning through a psychology book. He was tall, sharp-eyed, and always carried a quiet seriousness around him. But inside, he was lonely. Not many people understood him, and he never tried to explain himself. He preferred silence, books, and long walks. When Aisha entered, Aham didn't look up at first. But when she moved closer to the same shelf, her elbow accidentally touched his book, and all the notebooks she was holding slipped from her hands and fell to the floor. Aisha gasped softly and bent down in hurry. Before she could pick the first notebook, another hand reached out and lifted it. She looked up. Aham. For a moment, they both simply stared at each other. Aisha's eyes were nervous and soft. Aham's eyes were calm yet curious. "You dropped these," he said quietly. "Thank you," she whispered. That was it. Just two strangers exchanging a few simple words. But sometimes, destiny begins its work in moments that look small from the outside. Aisha walked away with her books, and Aham followed her with his eyes for a few seconds without realizing it. Something about her had caught his attention, her quietness, maybe, or the sadness she tried to hide behind her polite smile. He didn't know why he noticed. He just did. The next week, they crossed paths again, but this time, not in a peaceful bookshop. Aisha was walking home when a group of boys blocked her path and started teasing her. She froze. Her hands shook. Her breathing became fast. She hated such attention. It made her feel small, powerless. "Move," she said softly, but they laughed. Aham, who was passing by on the opposite side of the street, saw what was happening. His eyes narrowed. Without thinking twice, he walked straight toward them. "What's going on here?" His voice was firm. One of the boys smirked. "Nothing, bro, just talking." Aham stepped closer. "I said what's going on." His tone changed everything. The boys backed off, muttered something useless, and walked away. Aisha let out a shaky breath. For a moment, she couldn't speak. Aham looked at her, not with pity, but with respect. "Are you okay?" he asked softly. She nodded but looked down. Her eyes were glossy. "You don't have to be scared," he added. Aisha whispered, "Thank you." Her voice trembled, but her heart felt lighter. For the first time in a long time, someone stood for her, not for attention, not to show off, but simply because it was the right thing. Aham didn't walk with her. He didn't try to know her name. He just made sure she was safe and then quietly stepped away. But that moment stayed with both of them. Days passed. And somehow, they kept running into each other, at the bus stop, outside the library, near the stationery shop. Every time, their conversations grew a little longer. Aisha liked how Aham talked, slow, simple, but thoughtful. Aham liked how Aisha listened, not pretending, not judging, just listening. Still, both kept a distance. They didn't even realize that they were already thinking about each other more than they should. The narrator says, "They were strangers who became familiar, and soon, familiar would become important." Because destiny had already decided something bigger. A story that neither of them expected. And it had only just begun. So quietly that neither of them noticed it in the beginning. But destiny was working behind the scenes, slowly pushing two broken souls closer and closer. It started with something simple. One afternoon, Aisha was standing at the bus stop, holding her bag close, trying to protect her notes from the strong wind. Her scarf kept flying over her face, and she kept fixing it again and again. She looked tired, like she hadn't slept well. Aham was walking toward the same bus stop without realizing she was there. When he saw her, his steps slowed. He hesitated for a moment, then walked closer. "You look tired," he said gently. Aisha looked up with surprise. She hadn't expected him to speak first. "I had too much work," she said softly. Aham nodded. He didn't ask for details, and she liked that. Most people wanted long explanations. He didn't. He just understood. A small silence settled between them, not uncomfortable, but peaceful. A calm silence that made Aisha feel safe. After a moment, she said something she usually never said to strangers. "I'm not good at handling stress." Aham looked at her with steady eyes. "Nobody is. Some people just pretend better." Aisha felt a tiny smile forming on her lips. It was the first real smile she had in days. Their small conversations continued. At first, just a few sentences. Then a few minutes. Then long talks while walking toward their homes. Aisha shared little things, her favorite books, her dream of becoming an independent woman, her love for quiet evenings. Aham shared his life too, how he lived with his uncle, how he studied late at night, how he felt alone even in a room full of people. But even while they talked, Aisha always hid something. Something big. Something painful. A secret. Every time Aham asked about her family, she changed the topic. Every time he asked what worried her, she just smiled and said she was fine. She wasn't. And Aham knew it. He just didn't know why. One day, when they were walking together after college, the sky turned darker and clouds gathered above them. "Looks like rain," Aham said. Aisha looked up. "I like rain." "Why?" he asked. "Because it hides tears," she answered softly. Aham stopped walking for a second. That single sentence told him more about her than all their conversations combined. But he didn't question it. He respected her silence. The rain started falling, and they ran to stand under a shop roof. Water dripped loudly from the edge of the shelter. The world felt small there, just the two of them and the sound of rain. Aisha pulled her scarf tighter. "Aham, do you ever feel scared of losing people?" He thought for a moment and replied, "You only fear losing someone when they mean something to you." Aisha's heart skipped a beat. She looked away, pretending to watch the rain. She knew what she was feeling. And she also knew she shouldn't feel it. Not because Aham was wrong for her, no. He was everything right. But her life, her home, her family, none of it allowed choices. Still, the more she tried to stop her feelings, the more they grew. Meanwhile, Aham also felt something changing inside him. When he didn't see Aisha for a day, he wondered where she was. When she looked sad, it bothered him. When she smiled, it felt like sunlight had broken through a cloudy sky. He didn't say anything. He didn't confess. He didn't want to scare her. But his eyes said everything. He cared. Deeply. One evening, Aisha didn't come to the bus stop. Aham waited for 10 minutes. Then 20. Then an hour. She never missed a day. Something was wrong. He could feel it. He walked toward her street. His heartbeat was fast, and his mind was full of worries. When he reached near her house, he saw her standing outside, but she wasn't alone. Her mother was shouting at her. Aisha stood silently, tears in her eyes. She looked broken, trapped, helpless. Aham took one step forward, but then stopped. Aisha looked up and saw him. Their eyes met. In that one moment, Aham understood something. Aisha was fighting a war he knew nothing about. A silent war. A war that would soon test everything between them. And this was only the beginning. That night, after seeing Aisha crying outside her house, Aham couldn't sleep. He kept turning in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying that moment again and again. The anger in her mother's voice. The fear in Aisha's eyes. The silence between them. Everything felt heavy. He wanted to help her, protect her, ask her what was wrong, but something stopped him. A feeling. A strange sense that Aisha's life was not simple. It was like a locked door, and she didn't want anyone to open it. The next morning, Aham reached the library early. He waited outside, hoping she would come. And after some time, she did. Aisha walked slowly, her face pale and eyes swollen from crying. When she saw Aham, she stopped, surprised and unsure. "You didn't come yesterday," Aham said quietly. "I couldn't," she whispered. A small silence fell between them. Aisha looked tired, as if she was carrying a heavy burden on her shoulders, one she had never talked about. "You were crying," Aham added. Aisha looked away. "You saw that?" "Yes." She closed her eyes for a moment. "I didn't want you to." Aham stepped closer but kept his distance. "You don't have to hide things from me." Aisha shook her head. "Some things are better hidden." He frowned. "Are you in trouble?" Her lips trembled. "It doesn't matter." "It does," he insisted. Aisha looked at him with weak eyes, eyes that wanted to trust him but were scared of the world around her. "Aham, you cannot fix everything." He took a breath. "Maybe. But I can stand with you." For a moment, her heart softened. She wanted to tell him everything, every pain, every fear, every secret. But her courage broke before her words came. She only said, "Please, don't ask." Days passed, and things between them became strange. Aisha smiled less, talked less, and always looked like she was running away from something. Aham noticed everything, and the more he noticed, the more it hurt him. One evening, while they were walking home, an old woman from Aisha's neighborhood saw them together. She stared with sharp, judging eyes. Aisha quickly looked down, scared. "Why are you scared of her?" Aham asked. "She knows my family," Aisha murmured. So, if she tells them she saw me with you, things will get worse." Aham stopped walking. Worse. How worse? Aisha's breath shook. They will lock me inside. They will not let me step outside again. Aham felt something snap inside him. Why would they do that? Aisha bit her lip hard, holding back tears. Because they have already decided my future. He stared at her in confusion. What do you mean? Aisha finally said the word she had been hiding for weeks. My family arranged my marriage. Aham's world stopped. He stepped closer, shocked. Marriage? To whom? She shook her head, tears forming. Someone I don't even know. Aham felt a sharp pain in his chest. And you didn't tell me. How could I? She cried. I knew it would hurt you. It hurts because you matter, Aham said, voice breaking. Aisha wiped her tears quickly. I didn't want all this to happen. I didn't want you to care. But I do, he whispered. She turned away. I cannot fight them, Aham. My life is not mine. Aham felt helpless. He wanted to shout, scream, pull her away from that life, but he couldn't. She was trapped, and he had no key to. Did slowly. The engagement is soon. A wave of silence crushed them both. Aham looked at her with pain. Do you want this marriage? Aisha's voice broke completely. No. But wanting changes nothing. Aham clenched his fists. I won't let this happen. Aisha whispered softly, almost begging, don't make promises you cannot keep. He looked at her, really looked at her, and saw a girl who was drowning quietly, without noise, without help. That night, Aham walked home with fire in his chest. Aisha walked home with fear in her heart. Both knew something terrible was coming. Both knew they were running out of time. But neither knew how much this truth would cost them. It was only the beginning of the storm. After Aisha finally told Aham about her arranged marriage, something changed between them, not in their feelings, but in their hearts. Aham felt a sharp fire inside him, a fire he never knew existed. Aisha felt a cold fear growing inside her, a fear that kept tightening around her like invisible chains. Every day after that felt heavier. Aham tried to talk to her, tried to convince her to fight, tried to show her she deserved to choose her own life. But Aisha avoided long conversations. She smiled less. She walked faster. She always looked around, as if someone was watching her every move. One afternoon, Aisha was leaving college when she saw Aham waiting outside the gate. Her steps stopped. Her heart raced. Aham, you shouldn't be here, she said softly. I had to talk, he replied. Aisha looked around in panic. If someone sees us. Let them see, Aham said. You're not doing anything wrong. But they won't understand, she whispered. Aham took a deep breath. You're scared. She nodded, her voice barely audible. I am. Then let me stand with you. Her eyes softened with pain. You already are. But standing with me will only hurt you. Aham stepped closer. Your pain is hurting me more. Tell me what I can do. Aisha looked down. Her fingers trembled. She wanted to tell him everything, to run away with him, to fight, to scream, to break the walls her family had built around her. But she wasn't that brave. My engagement is in 10 days, she whispered. Aham's heart dropped. 10 days. Aisha nodded with tears hiding behind her lashes. Yes. And after that, everything will be over. Aham stared at her with the deepest pain he had ever felt. Do you want it to be over? No, she said instantly. But I don't have a choice. You do, he insisted. You always do. Aisha's voice shook. Not in my house. That night, Aham walked on empty streets, trying to calm his mind. The wind felt colder, the darkness heavier. He couldn't understand how someone as gentle as Aisha could be forced into a life she didn't want. He reached a small bench near the old park and sat down. It was quiet except for the sound of leaves rustling. He rested his elbows on his knees and held his head. What do I do? He whispered to himself. After hours of thinking, he made a decision. He went to Aisha's best friend, Zara. She was the only person Aisha trusted completely. Zara opened the door with tired eyes. Aham, what are you doing here? I need your help, he said. Zara hesitated, then stepped aside. Come in. Aham explained everything, the fear, the arranged marriage, the engagement, Aisha's silence. Zara sighed deeply. She is breaking, Zara said. She cries every night. She pretends she's okay, but she's not. Aham's chest tightened. Then why won't she fight? Zara looked at him with sad eyes. Because she thinks she will only ruin your life if she chooses you. She thinks your world is bigger than hers. Aham shook his head. She's wrong. Zara placed a gentle hand on his arm. Then prove it to her. He looked up sharply. How? Zara said softly, show her that she is not alone. Show her that she can choose something for herself, even once. Aham nodded slowly. He felt determination rising inside him. I'll try, he said. Meanwhile, Aisha sat on her bedroom floor, hugging her knees. Her father's voice echoed in her mind. You will marry the man we chose. No questions. Aisha wiped her tears with shaking hands. She didn't want that life. She didn't want to be caged. She didn't want to lose Aham. But she also didn't want him to get hurt because of her. She whispered to the empty room. I wish I had the courage. Her phone vibrated suddenly. It was a message from Aham. Meet me tomorrow. Please. One last time. Aisha's breath caught. She should say no. She knew she should. But her fingers moved on their own. Okay. She didn't know that this single word would change everything. The next day, the moment Aham saw her, he realized something. He was ready to fight for her. But she was ready to give him up to save him. Two hearts. Two fears. Two opposite decisions. But destiny was preparing something neither of them expected. And time was running out faster than ever. The next morning arrived quietly, but nothing felt quiet inside Aisha or Aham. Both woke up with heavy hearts, one with determination, the other with fear. This meeting felt like a last chance, a thin thread holding their story together. Aisha walked to the small park where Aham had asked her to meet. Her steps were slow, almost unsure, as if every movement carried a question. Was she ready to change her destiny? Aham was already there, pacing back and forth. When he saw her, he stopped. The air between them grew tense, not with anger, but with unspoken feelings. Thank you for coming, he said softly. Aisha nodded, her eyes avoiding his. I didn't want to leave things unfinished. Aham stepped closer. Then don't leave them. Stay. Stay with me. Aisha's breath trembled. It's not that simple. But why can't it be? Aham asked, frustration breaking through his voice. Why do you have to suffer for decisions you never made? Aisha looked at him, really looked, and her eyes shimmered. Because that is how my world is. My choices don't matter there. Then make one choice, Aham said, his voice shaking. Just one. For yourself. Aisha's lips opened, but no words came. She was drowning inside her thoughts. Aham continued, Aisha, I don't want to lose you. I don't want you to live a life you never wanted. And I can't stand here and watch them take you away. A tear slipped down her cheek. Aham, you deserve someone who is free. Someone who can walk beside you without fear. I don't want someone else, he said. I want you. His voice was raw, pain, love, confusion, everything mixed. Aisha wiped her tears with trembling fingers. If I choose you, you will lose peace. You will lose your safety. My family will never let you be happy. They will blame you. Aham shook his head. Then let them. I'm not scared. But I am, she finally cried. I am scared for you. I am scared for us. I am scared because everything in my life is out of my control. Aham's expression softened. Aisha, do you love me? She froze. Her heartbeat almost stopped. Her silence gave him the answer. He whispered again, do you? Tears filled her eyes until she couldn't see clearly. Yes, she finally said. I love you. So much that it hurts. Aham took her hand gently. Then why are you running away from something your heart already chose? Aisha pulled her hand back, shaking. Because my heart doesn't decide my life. My family does. The silence that followed was long, painful, and full of the truth both of them feared.